Okay, all right, I think we're live. So this is going to be my first test with streaming, so bear with me on this as I figure things out. Get my chat up here in case anybody wants to join in. Oh, I gotta log in. Just stand by, I'll be right on top of this. Let's see. Sorry. Two-step verification. Okay, so today on the streaming, I'm gonna try and make a full audio reactive program that has the ability to switch between multiple effects. We'll just see how far I can get. If anybody jumps in here, I'll also take some requests on, oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. Test. All right, cool. I think we're live. All right, so I'm just going to be using this default TouchDesigner audio. Real boring. So I'm gonna keep it off most of the time unless I really want to see what's going on. I'm going to start with a blank project here. And what I'm going to do a little different in this than what I do in my tutorials. Usually in my tutorials, I build some big network all on one screen, but I'm going to build this more like I would actually build a real project so you can see how I organize my projects. So for example, I wouldn't actually put this audio file stuff out here. I'm going to collapse this down and make an audio base. Then I'm going to go in my comment and give that a shortcut of audio. Okay, and then let's see, what other base information am I going to want on this? So I'm going to add a couple more bases here. I know I'm going to have a video out, and where did my chat go? Did I lose it already? Sorry, this is me learning how to do this live here. I have a million browser open. Okay. Let's see, let's get the chat back in here. Not that anybody's actually going to join this, but let's just go with it. All right, it's good practice. Okay, so audio. I'm all over the place here. Okay, in the audio section, I want my output of this base to be my audio analysis information that I'm going to be using. And I'll probably add to this as I go as well. So I'm bringing in some of the default palette tool for audio analysis. I'm going to put it in null so I can see what's going on. And I'm going to go and put that into an output or an out. What's nice is if you use the out and not rename it, it'll automatically show up as what this is viewed as. Usually when I organize my projects, I try to have just one out of the base. So that way I can visualize what's happening coming out of it. It's also just a good way to keep things clean, that if I feel the need to have multiple outputs, it probably means I should split it out into multiple different bases. All right, so let's see, I need to finish making my other bases here. So let's make here an effects library. I'm just going to call it effects library. And then I'm going to make a switcher. And let's see, that's probably good for that. Inside of here, I'll make one of my, all my different effects, so like effects 1 and 2, 3, 4, whatever. And then switcher, I'm gonna select between two different inputs, and let's see, I'll probably use a crossover actually, and to switch between the two, send that to an output. Okay, so I've got my output set up there. My effects library is not going to have an output just because it's going to hold multiple effects. And then the video out, I know I'm going to select whatever's in my switcher. So, okay, so this is how I use those these global op shortcuts. I haven't set them for these yet. So each base I'm going to add global op shortcut. This one's going to be called effects. I'm just going to match what their names actually are. So switcher, not squitcher, switcher, and video out. Okay, so all right, that's just getting things set up. So op.switcher.op.out1. So this is how you use the global ops shortcuts. You type in op dot and then whatever the global op shortcut is. And then I'm gonna always pick that out1 out of the, because I leave that output labeled out1. You have to also change it to this evaluate mode, so that way it actually fully processes what the meaning of this is. So that points to my correct address of what my switcher's output is. All right, and then this video out, I'm just gonna go straight into an output. The reason I do this pretty simple thing inside of this video out is in case I wanna add any sort of any extra mapping on the outside of it. So like, maybe I need to crop it a specific way for like an LED panel or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Let's go ahead and start building an effect so we have something. I am going to take my audio info here, drag it up so I can have access to it. Let's turn on a couple more of our audio triggers here. So I got my kick, got my low, mid, high. Let's do the snare as well. Yeah, let's just do that for now. Okay, so let's build an effect. So all I know is that the output of one of these I want to be, some top out. But at the beginning of this, I'm going to start by making sort of a classic noise sculpt, a noise sculpting sort of effect. So let's see, to do this, actually, instead of using my stuff up here, because I know I'm gonna process some of this audio data, I'm actually gonna use my global op shortcut, do op.audio, op out1, and then change to eval mode. So that way I can start using these here. I'm actually gonna close this one out. And I'm gonna add some new things here. So let's see, sorry, you're getting my live thinking process here. Instead of doing that, I'm actually gonna do things like count my kicks in this audio analysis, just so I can have, a constant count for each of those. So let's drag this null into a select. And I think I'm gonna do this for, let's do a kick, let's do a snare, and let's just do those. And then we're gonna put those into a count. And then let's do a rename. And I'm gonna rename it *_count. So now I get kick count, snare count, and I'm gonna merge this in. Okay, merged. Great. Okay, let's go back to our effect. So effect 1 here, now I'm gonna kick count and snare count. I know, for example, like this noise I'm gonna change with the kick count. So I'm gonna rename this variables. Right click and hit view. Let's drag that up to the top. Also, before I get too far, I'm gonna save this. So let's go to tutorials and let's call this audio reactive. Effects tool. Okay. All right, let's get back to the fun stuff. So I'm going to change the kick every time, or change the speed of this noise every time there's a kick. And okay, I'm going to use this noise actually as XYZ position. So let's go ahead and change it out of monochrome. Let's pull it. Let's go ahead and make our render so we can see what we're doing right from the beginning. So this is going to be the position of our particles in our setup here. So let's add points. Of course, add an add, hit add points, or wrong, add points, and then convert it to a particle per point, and then bring this into a geometry and a camera. Also add a material. I'm going to do a constant and add a render. And let's do what are we gonna do for our resolution? Let's set a global variable space as well. So set another base. Let's call this settings. Inside of here, sometimes I do this as dot, sometimes I do it as chops. I don't know which one's better. So I'm gonna put output width 1920, output height 1080. Let's put that into an out, and then I go back into my effect. I can select that as well. Oh, I forgot to do my global op shortcut again. So settings. Okay, so chops, it's gonna be opt.settings, op L1. Okay, great. Now I've got these as well. So I'm gonna merge these in so they're all on my selectable section up here for my variables. Just in case I need them again later. Okay, so in my render output, let's grab our output width. Let's grab the output height. Great, start. All right, go to our geometry, turn on instancing, and bring in our position info. So let's call RGB. All right, so let's move our camera. Looks like we're in the wrong position right now. So I'm not going to keep this orthographic or anything, I think. So let's translate it 0.5, 0.5. Well, actually, no, let's not do that. Let's keep it in the middle because we're going to change our inputs here. Okay, let's shrink this down. Put it in my corner here. I'm not a big fan of like doing the background rendering or like the split rendering because sometimes I just want to be able to like move things around. Sometimes I need like the space, you know? Okay, so let's change this up a bit. So first of all, I'm going to change it to 32-bit RGBA. You'll see now I'm in all directions around, or I'm not limited to everything positive. And now I'm going to offset by 0, which moves me to the 0, 0 midpoint. And then amplitude, we'll keep it 0.5. So now we start seeing, you know, I've got this nice noise. I want to start sculpting it a little bit. So let's up the period a little bit so we get a little more kind of like fluid shapes. Let's also, let's see, is 256 by 256 going to be enough? Yeah, let's keep it for now. All right, something I want this actually to be. I'm gonna use a trick to normalize these as vector directions, and at least at first. So instead of an RGB value representing a point in space, I can do this trick where I normalize all the values so that way they're all just actually representing a direction out from the center point. So I can make a sphere of particles at a specific radius. And let me show you how I do that. So first of all, using a math, I can figure out what all the lengths of that XYZ vector, so like the 3 different directions are. So I can do that by combining channels and length. This only, I only want the red, green, and blue values, so let's turn off the alpha. And really the red output is the only thing that's giving me information. So these are all the lengths of each of my particles, or sorry, each of my positions, each of my vectors really. And then I want to take that into a composite and then use a divide operation and make sure this is back to 32-bit RGBA. Okay, so now if I take these into here, yeah, I get this beautiful circle. This like noisy circle. Okay, so let's see, what else should we do here? I kind of don't want it to change every beat, so let's have it like change every 4 beats. So let's do like mod 4. Let's see. No, how do we do this? Let's see. Divided by 4. And then we can do an integer. What did I do wrong? Let's see. That's right. Okay, so int. Too many parentheses. Okay, so now we're doing like every 4 beats, we're changing that seed. Okay, So let's see, let's actually animate the noise as well, so it's not static in between beats. So let's do an abs time dot seconds. Let's do it over 8. No, abs time. Okay, let's slow down even more. Let's do 16. Sure. Okay, and now I'm gonna go into another noise. So I mean, the smooth circle is cool and all, but like let's get some like more local noise based on where they are in 3D space. So I'll explain this a little bit after I do it. So I'm gonna add it into a noise as the first and the second value. So that means with the first value, I'm gonna take the input plus the noise. So I'm bringing in that input and I'm gonna add whatever noise I'm adding to it. And the noise I'm going to add to it, I want it to be offset from 0. I want it to be like 0.01. Let's go and drag it back in so we can see what we're doing. So now this amplitude is what makes it, grow away from the sphere. You notice we're going only up and down in the diagonal. It's because we're on monochrome. So if we switch out of that, we get a nice fuzzy ball. And then if we pump up our period, we'll get a more stringy fuzzy ball. And then we animate that. So let's see, abs time, seconds. Let's do 18. And then let's copy our seed expression. And let's add 1 just to make sure they're not exactly the same or correlated necessarily. And let's transform this guy a little quicker. Let's go. Okay, what else can we do here? Let's up the amplitude on this maybe. And let's speed this guy up a little more. Cool. All right, let's see, what else can we do? Let's add a point transform in here. Oh, I know what we'll do actually. Yeah, okay, instead of doing a regular transform, let's do the speed based on our audio. So that way we get some audio reaction. It's a little more organic feeling. Turn this guy back down for a little bit. And all right, let's select from our variables that low value. Get that out of here. All right, so I'm gonna use this low value and then I'm gonna use it with a speed. And this will add every seed. You kind of see when I hit the kick, it goes up a little more each time. Let's try this in here, see what it looks like. Let's call it kick speed. Drag this in and use that as our transform. And let's do that for both of these actually. Both noises. Okay, cool. So now I'm getting, let's listen to the audio for 1 second. Okay, so we're getting that kick that's changing the big shape of this. You know what, let's also add an audio analysis to this as well. I think that, let's see. Yeah, let's add audio analysis and analyze, and then let's do RMS power, and then merge that in. Because maybe instead of the kick, we can use that, but we'll use that in other places maybe. So let's change this from low to Chan 1. And let's take low out. All right, I'm gonna reattach these. All right, so now it should have a little. The reason I do that is because I think there's always going to be a little bit of. I want a little bit of movement even when there's not a kick. So yeah, that's feeling pretty good. Okay, let's use this point transform and kind of like zoom things down a little bit, and maybe this is actually where I use Let's get that out of there. Let's use our kick value again here, actually, but this time we'll process it a little more. So let's see, select, let's go to our kick, or maybe we'll do the snare since we're already, well, we haven't actually technically used the kick yet. Okay, null. I'm going to drag that kick in to our, well, let's change a little bit first. So kick is just going from 1 to 0. I'm going to add a trail here so I can visualize what I'm doing a little bit. Instead of going from 0 to 1, I wanted to just kind of like pump my scale of my little globe here every time it kicks. So, and I want to do that slowly. So let's add like a lag. So you can see it gives us less of a sharp up and down on the kick. And then let's kind of rescale things here. So I'm going to go from, instead of from 0 to 1, I'm going to go from like 0.9 to 1.2 or something. And then let's attach this to our scale. Okay, let's try to make it more subtle. Okay, and let's make the lag for up a little shorter, and the lag down maybe a little longer even. Let's go a bit shorter on that, because I think there's already a little bit of like, maybe not. So let's do 1.01, just so, yeah, we want it to pump up pretty quick and come down slowly. All right. Okay, cool. Let's finish off this first effect here with some kind of post-processing effects. I'm going to do kind of a classic thing here and do a mirror. And do 90 degrees. I feel like I see a lot of people with this sort of effect. And then let's go into a feedback. Let's add a couple different things in here. Let's do a transform. We're going to do a slow zoom on this. And then let's do a level. And let's see, plop a blur in there as well. And let's see, I'll do that over. And drag that into my feedback. All right, transform, I know I'm going to go like 1.01. And let's blur it a little bit. And the level, I want it to fade out. So let's get that. 98, no, let's go even lower. Let's see how we're looking. Feeling all right about that. I feel like I want it to be maybe animating a little more. Maybe I just want to bring my period down a little bit on my first noise so I get some more complexity. Okay. It's kind of fun, like Rorschach-y effects. All right. Actually, I'm going to zoom my camera out so I can get that sort of whole picture in there. Let's center it nicely. Oops, that's not it. So let's do 7. All right, now I've got my cool little kind of Rorschach-y brain looking thing happening. What else? We can add on kind of some cheap and easy effects. Let's go like RGB delay. And it's usually way too much for me. So I'm gonna go down to like -5, -3, -1. Yeah, okay. Getting some little bit of kind of chromatic aberration type stuff there. Also gonna pump down this this range a little bit more. So let's go 9.95 to 1.05. So just like subtle. There we go. Just a nice little pump to it. Okay. Let's stick with that for right now as our effect number 1. That's cool. Okay, so effects number 1. What else do we want to add? Let's do Let's do something else. Let's try to do like, well, actually, let's just start with that one and let's build a new one based off of that. So maybe I'll delete these for now. Actually, let's just copy paste this. Let's go to FX2. Let's see. Maybe instead of this noise, what if I like did? Let's do like a movie file in. That's let's see. What resolution is this guy? And let's see what's like the go to like our default pictures here. So, or let's do our videos actually. Nature. Let's get one that changes a bit. None of these change that much. Okay, let's do movie one now. Let's just try this out. I haven't really tried this before, but let's just see what comes out of this. So first of all, I'm gonna bring up my preview here. So if I, instead of this noise as an input, what if I use this video as an input? Okay, nothing interesting so far. It's because it's all in the top right corner for one, and I'm mirroring over that. So let's go -90 on this. And let's like zoom up into this guy. So yeah, what am I doing here? So I mean, I'm doing the exact same thing, right? Except this time I'm using a movie as my input. I'm still adding the same noise on top of it as well. If I skip this, let's see, it's just going around. Let's move this a little more to the right so I get it all in there. All right, now this one's pretty boring. Let's see. I think maybe I can actually find a better movie file, and I've got like some. Let's see on my desktop. I got some videos in here. Let's see. Let's try this guy. It's a big file, so I'm gonna drop the res down, and let's go to like let's go to an 1/8 even. All right. So what happens if I skip past this point transform? I just get some. This is just my video file. Transforming pixels for me. And what does this look like? Okay, it's all like everything's just like blown up. Okay, it's because I'm doing my normalization. Let's take that normalization out of that. Cool. So this is all that's giving me as far as information. Let's add in our extra noise on top. Okay, that's a little more like what we had before, but kind of spreading out in fun ways. All right. What else? Let's add. Sure. Let's just say this is good for now for whatever reason. Let's add another effect. This time. Let's go back to a noise, but let's try some different ideas. Actually, I'm going to copy that first one. Okay, so now I've got, I'm back to like my, this one's back to my kind of circle, but maybe instead of mirroring, I'll do something different. So let's take out our mirror on this one. Just replace this with a null. And take out my mirror. All right, and one of the things I've been liking to play with lately is my my limit, and then using the quantize position. Let's just do round, see what that looks like. Nothing. Let's see. Okay, so it's rounding everything together. All right. Okay, so instead of that, let's do, let's add it. Okay, so this is gonna make our radius bigger. Let's play with our period a little more. And let's see, let's change the noise amplitude maybe a little bit. And let's zoom out on our camera even a little more. So let's explain a little what I did there. So so what's cool is like this, you know, this quantized position will like round, you know, it'll chop up this into a grid and round up each of these boxes based on their kind of an average of what the current pixels are in that area. So, and then I add that to it. So really, since these are already normalized data, it's going to make the radius of this circle 2 now, or at least about 2. And then it'll go into this noise again and process that sort of extra texture on it. So if I just skip out on this, it's also kind of cool. And in fact, let's just leave that. Let's go with this sort of smooth effect. And let's see, let's speed up our transform a little bit for this. So maybe even 0.5, because I want those, like, I want these waves to kind of reach out to the edges here. All right, let's see, what else could we do? Am I happy enough with that? Let's add some more particles. Let's do 500 by 500 edges so there's more happening. Let's not change that. Whoops. All right. All right, that's a good start. I'll probably want to come back and build some more effects to this at some point. Okay, so let's go to our switcher, or maybe before that, let's make our like effect selector. I'm going to do that using a keyboard in, and then let's just use our numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, and I know there's a way, I think it's my logic. So logic will allow me to do a radio button. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what I want. So I wanted to, I'm pressing my keys and I want it to stick. So that way if I change, it changes with me. Okay. So, and then I want to use a, what is that, a fan in to give me what the value is. So fan in, 1, 2, 3, okay. Cool, let's rename that to effect ID. I'm gonna merge that into my settings here. Let's get rid of this guy, for now. Okay, so now I got effect ID coming through. Okay, so let's go to my switcher now. And let's select from my settings. Okay, so I've got this effect ID, but what I want to do is I want to make it so every time this effect ID is changed, I put it in whatever selection currently isn't selected, and then I cross it over, or do a crossover transition between the two. So let's think through how we want to make that happen. So out of the settings here, I'm going to select the effect ID. Let's do a logic and a rising edge. So this is going to be whenever it changes. Oh no, that's not right. Let's do that. We want to do on when value changed. Yeah, it's working. Let's put a trail just in case my frame rate doesn't show you that it's changing. There we go. So every time I change numbers, I get a nice trigger on that. Okay, that's good. And okay, what else are we gonna do? We want to put that into another logic that does a toggle. So it'll go back and forth. So I'm going to rename this to, this is going to be my AB, right? So this is when I want it to go. It'll be A when it's 0 and B when it's 1. Save that as a null actually, or just put it as a null because I might be selecting that later. And okay. Now before I set it into this crossover, let's go ahead and actually I'll link it. But before it does that, I do want to add a lag. So I want it to have a nice slow transition between the two. Here, let's put something in here so you can actually see what's happening. So I know I have my op.fx is my global shortcut, and then I'm going to do an op fx1/out1 for my, let's just set that for now. Let's put number 2 in here, and then hit eval. Okay, so now when I'm changing, it will switch between the two whenever it changes. If I click the same one, it won't change because it's not actually changing values. But I'm getting an A/B switching happening anytime I'm changing the values. So what to do now? Okay, so I'm going to use this A/B selection to, let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm going to use the effect ID anytime this effect ID is triggered. I want to look at this value and set this to whatever that is. So yeah, so let's do a dat execute, or a chop execute, sorry. And we'll change whenever it goes from off to on. So I'm going to go in here and add a little script in. I'm sure there's probably some way I could do this without using a script, but this seems to me like the fastest way at this point. So anytime it's changed, I want to say, I'm going to make a variable called effect ID, and it's going to be equal to op select for effect ID. Okay, and then what do I want to do? So if the current selection is 0, that means next I'm going to change to select 2. So A is going to be select 1, B is select 2. So let's just change those to make, so we'll make it A deck and B deck select 2. Okay, so that's these two, and then I'm going to do a simple if statement. So let's see, I need to bring in my AB. So op AB, oh no, I called that null. So this op AB1 is what we're going to call that, I guess. Let's fix my link. Okay, so op AB is going to be, or sorry, AB value is going to be the value of this. I probably need to wrap that in an integer to make sure it's not read as a float. Okay, so now let's do an if statement. So if AB equals 0, then I want to set B deck equals, okay, I need to make my path name. So my path's going to be equal to op.fx.op, and then okay, I'm going to do an let's see if I remember how to do this. So an f string no, I'm not going to remember how to do that. Let's see. Let's just do it the simpler way. or the dumber way, I guess I should say. So let's do op, and then fx, put these in double quotes, plus the string of the value of effect ID, plus, what are we at? So I need to take out this single colon. So the effect one, oh no, and then I need to do double quotes slash out one. Let's close the single quote and then close my double quotes. Let's see. I probably got that wrong. So, okay, so that's fine. So bdec, I need to do, change this parameter. So it's the top parameter. So bdec top parameter dot top is going to be equal to the path. Great. And then we're going to do else. And then change it ADEC. All right, let's see how lucky we are. Yeah, okay. Let's see what our error is. Okay, oh, I forgot the double quotes, or double equal sign, sorry. Okay, we're not done. Name bdec is not defined. Oh, using capitals. Let's stay consistent here, Dean. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. No, let's see what else we got. ADEC is not. I'm using all caps. What am I doing? All right, all caps out of here. Okay, all right. So got some problems, and that is because we need to do this in eval mode. Trying to remember how to do that. Let's go to our old friend, the docs. Let's see, eval mode, par class. Let's see, the evaluated parameter. So how do I change it to the mode? So parameter mode. I think that's all I do. Do I do just .eval? I think that's all I gotta do. All right, let's do .eval. So that makes sure when I think, well, let's make sure it works before I start explaining it like I know what I'm talking about. No. What did I do wrong now? Can I find a function named off to on? Yeah, oh, that's what did I do wrong here? Eval par dot evaluated parameter. Oh, I think I actually need this. Maybe it's not eval, maybe it's exp expression. I bet that's it. Some of you old pros are probably just hitting your head right now watching this. This is how I actually do things. So, okay, I might need bdec. Do I have to change the expression mode? No. Oh, I don't need quotes, or I don't need parentheses. Okay. All right. So, all right, I'm getting a float value. So let's make sure our effect ID is cast to an integer. All right, 2 and 3. Cool. So every time I hit a key, it reads what my current AV and it switches between them. It's cool. All right. Let's see how long we've been going here. Do I have a way to tell on this recording software of mine here? Wow, we've had 3 concurrent viewers, 16 views. Nobody wants to say anything in the chat, I guess, huh? All right. That's all right. This is just the first test here. Okay, so let's see, what else should we set up in this? Let's also go out to our project. Let's, get this ready for actual, like, go time here. So my window operator for my output for form is going to be my op.video.out1. Set that. Why don't you like that doing that? Oh, I said video out, not just video. There we go. Why does one go to a bad size? Oh, it's because it's not, one doesn't actually have my switcher, my effect ID is going from 0 to 1 or 0 to 4 instead of 1 to 4, and I started my effects with 1. So let's make an effect 0. And let's do something else in here. I don't know. What are some other crazy looking effects? Oh, hey, we got somebody in the chat. What's up, Wyman? Okay, so what else should we make? Any challenges of what I should put into this effect? Let's just play with some. Maybe we'll play with some levels on this one. See what happens if I mess with those. I haven't really experimented a ton with this sort of effect, but I made kind of the first version of it the other day, just messing around, and been wanting to explore it some more. So I figured, why not just do it live? Oh, dang it! This is a dumb problem. Want to see a fun problem? So if I go into the normalized version of this and I change the gamma, it like blows everything out to nothing. Why is that? So let's up our contrast and see what happens. Did I just scale things up? Okay, what else? I want to try, what if I use another limit again? Actually, let's get rid of that level. It's kind of boring. All right, let's use the limit again, but this time let's quantize our values. Oh, maybe we need to do this before noise though, because otherwise it'll just slam a bunch of particles on top of each other. So let's see, we're normalizing into a circle there. Let's take that out and let's go into a null. Let's take out our mirror. Where are we at? Oh, we just got our nice little cloud here. Let's recenter our camera. Oh, let's put that at like, what, 5? Okay. Let's see. Yeah, what happens if I put a limit in here and then quantize these values? So if I round these out, then I get some sort of like localized points around there. Oh, but then they're gonna be. Let's add that to what we got going here. So it should like sort of localize them. Yeah, so it kind of like balls them up a little bit. Let's see. Zoom out a little bit. And this thing really. Okay, so maybe it's not that cool. Let's see. We got the limit. Not that interesting. Yeah, not as cool as I thought it would be, I guess. Quantized position stuff was cooler. Let's pump these up. I guess the normalizing the position thing is what made that cool first. All right. What else can we do? What else can we do? Let's do some more different post-processing effects, actually. Let's see, what could we do to make this interesting? Maybe we could do some sort of like motion distort. Let's do that. Let's go. Let's do a feedback, optical flow feedback. It's one of my favorite things. And maybe it'll just be kind of a cool liquidy background effect. All right, what do we got here? So we got data, but let's blur it before it goes in so we get more of kind of like a general outside motion effect going on here. Maybe even add a bloom. Just really pump up our data here. Let's see, does it get anything? Yeah, a little bit. Let's try it. Let's just see what happens. If not, we'll change this to like some geometry or something. All right, so optical flow feedback, I put it into a feedback and then I put it into a displace on both inputs. So I'm displacing the input by itself. Actually, I'm gonna go in here. I hate how they do this. I want this to only be RG just to save on some processing. I don't need to process all those channels. And let's make this feedback channel 32 RG as well. All right, I know I'm going to be processing green channel, and with this I always do 0.001, just the most subtle of displacements. Not for the midpoint though. I make that mistake way too often. For the displace weight, and I'll usually throw that into a level, or probably, yeah, let's do a level. And then into an add. And throw that in there. Throw that in there. No, throw that in there. And then bring that in to there. Am I getting anything interesting? That's looking kind of cool. All right. Let's take this into math. And looks like it's normalizing out to like 0.2, negative 0.2 to positive 0.2. So let's rearrange it to that. So like let's do like 0.15 to negative to 0.15. And go with -1 to +1. That's fun. All right, let's bring this out a little more. We're just gonna make it look cool instead of like being interesting information here. Let's see, what does that look like? What if I put this over this guy? All right, let's fade it out. Not that interesting yet. Let's see here. I think maybe blurred it a little more. Also, let's put this back to RGBA. And let's yeah, let's do something different. Let's make this like a geometry driven thing. Sure. Why not? Yeah, let's do a simple one for now. Let's do like a sphere, some noise. Let's do transform. And let's steal our point transform stuff here. Sure. Okay. Let's pump our roughness up. Let's pump our amplitude up. Let's get some more detail on this guy. Let's do like 60 by 80. We are pumping up here. Okay, let's also maybe facet it. Always forget the right things for this. Nope. So let's see. Compute normals. Unique points. Why can't I remember what the right things to put on this are? Let's see. Is that under my help here? Okay, for example, you can compute surface normals for making vertices. No, that's not what I want. Let's see, maybe it's in the operator snippets. Gotta always check the operator snippets. Unique points, no. Compute normals, no. Oh, that might be it. What does this one do? So, unique points, compute normals. Let's try that. Right, unique points, compute normals. That's what I did. Okay. No consolidate. What am I doing different on here? Compute normals. Oh, make. Maybe I have too much detail now. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Let's bring our period way down. And let's get rid of a bunch of this junk. So let's just bring that in. Uh-oh, I made a bad decision. Crashed. Oh man, getting this fun guy. All right, well, I have not been saving this enough. So that's gonna bring me to 0. All right, well, this has been a fun test. If anybody actually stuck with this stream, I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave this one up, but if you enjoyed this, definitely let me know and I'll try to do more. Thanks a bunch.